Hello, my name is Nina Bentley, and I am one of two artists in this show called Sense and Souls. And the other artist is Robert Cottingham, who's a famous photorealist, and he has painted, I think it's 230 perfume bottles. That's the Sense. And my contribution are 25 shoes, which are the souls. And my shoes, I really started doing them in the 80s. And I had just moved to America after living as a corporate executive wife in Europe for about 15 years. And I came back to America, had a very small studio, so had to figure out a way of doing sculptures using all my found objects, etc., but on a small scale. So I started doing shoes, and I think I've done 100, and some of them have been in multiple versions. And the first one I'm showing you is a corporate executive female climbing shoe. And this was clearly my take on what you needed to get ahead in the corporate world if you were a woman. And my shoes, you'll see, are either pretty pointed, as in this case, which actually has a few little specks of blood on some of the aggressive tips of sharpness. Some of them are funny, meant to be funny. Some of them are meant to be lovely. And they're political statements, personal statements, and I will give you a little tour of 25 representative shoes. The second shoe I'm showing you is, this is Crows Over Wheat Fields. It's an homage to Van Gogh. I've done 3. One is in a collection in Weston. This is part of the Westport Public School collection, and one is in Zurich. And I just love the idea of these birds suspended on wires. So there's no deep meaning in that. It's simply an homage to Van Gogh. My shoes have been in the Bata Shoe Museum in Toronto. They've been in the Fuller Craft Gallery. They have been exhibited in Baden, in Switzerland, in a one-person show at the Westport Arts Center. They've had they've had a long life, a long traveling life. And the second shoe, or the third, is called the Garden of Eden. And this was purchased by Stuart Weitzman and was exhibited on his Madison Avenue showroom. And his wife, Jane Weitzman, did a book called Art and Soul, where she pictured hundreds of the shoes in her private collection, and I borrowed this shoe back from her for this show. So that's the Garden of Eden. And the next one is called Feathering Her Own Nest, and this was really a breakthrough shoe for me, because this is where I'm saying a woman can take care of herself. She can earn enough money, she can support herself. And this particular shoe, done 3 different times, are owned by 3 very successful corporate women, and I think this should actually be there. Okay, moving right along, vintage footwear. My homage to red wine is owned by a Swedish couple in Hartford, no, in Cambridge, in Boston. And that's been in various shows. I keep borrowing it back from the owner. And this is Primavera, done purely to be lovely. No deep meaning, no message, just I thought it had a very lovely spring look. That was on the cover of a show that I had at one point. The platform shoe, 2 iterations, one owned by Ann Scheffer, the other by Jane Weitzman, and it's in her book. And you'll notice a lot of the pieces have money in it, which I think represents the fact that I was just coming away from this sort of corporate life. A humorous shoe is Early Woman's First Dress-Up shoe with a wheel, and there's Early Man's First Wingtip. That's a pair. That's been enjoyed but never purchased. But there's a great jawbone up there. And then going backwards, here is the male corporate climbing shoe that is the partner to the female one that we started with, and he's got jets to help him get ahead and crampons. And this shoe, called the Victim, was done when my daughter left home and I was worried about her being on her own. And it was also called an homage to Kitty Genovese, which is a very famous case where a woman is abused in a courtyard and onlookers don't do anything to help her. So that's one of my most serious shoes. Nature's Children. I don't think it means anything, but I sort of like the look. And this was done for a show called Woman's Work, and this is called Woman's Work is Not Child's Play. And I did about 4 or 5 different shoes with work theme, sponges and Brillo pads. That's called Vermont Downhill, the McDonald arches suggesting the downhill decline, the decline of the beauty of Vermont. And this was done for my daughter when she left for Colorado. And what did I title that? Foothold. So this is her getting a foothold on her new life. And this is my favorite shoe. This is a Freudian slipper. When I lived in Zurich, I lived near the Jung Institute, and so I knew a lot of people who were involved in studying. And I did maybe 5 or 6 very dark shoes about split sides and shadow sides, and then one called Paris on Foot, which I can't find. In this next room, before we go into the other, I have prints of the shoes. So it's like a second life. And pretty much all of them I have documented, and I have prints of them. But I don't think we have to see all of them because they're all the same as the shoes. Moving right along, the Sunday shoe, I was in a diner show and I did all the food for the diner, so I got all excited about creating ice cream out of plaster. So that's all that's about. But my children like that. And passing some of Robert Cottingham's magnificent perfume bottles, we come to In Full Bloom, which was used in the cover of a big fundraiser for the Discovery Museum years ago. And that snake probably should be called the Garden of Eden, but can't use the title twice. And following on down, this is Miami, Viva Miami, and they're fake Rolex watches all over it. And then somebody said the Sands of Time because the title had fallen off, and I like that title too. But that's Miami with its hotels and glitz. This is one of my favorite shoes. This is owned by my son, and he brought it from London. And it's called Protecting America's Values. And it's probably one of my most serious shoes. And there's Superman. This I made for a friend for his birthday. He's a great golfer, and that's his picture on the TV. And I don't know, I love the moose with the broken. This is an interesting shoe. I did this for a friend of mine who said by the time she had her first baby, she felt that every time she got dressed up to go out, everybody could tell that she was a mother. And so this is called Stepping Out with My Babies. And here is Shushi, my Shushi shoe. And finally, the shoe which actually represents my newest work, which was a monument. It was started out to be sort of a monument to marriage, and then it sort of disintegrated. And there's the timer, or the pressure gauge. Anyway, this is the absolutely newest piece, which is probably just about 6 months old. And over the time, since I started with shoes, I did subjects of marriage, weight loss, self-improvement, tastes of your own medicine. I did a lot of medical artwork. And now I have this whole marriage and divorce series that I'm working on. So it generally gives you a little insight into my world. Thank you. Thank you.